I am currently an Emerald on Transformation Nation. I'm super close to Diamond. I'm hoping to pull that out this month. I'm going to pull that out this month. So I have been a coach since last January. So I'm coming up on a year, and I really have enjoyed it. It's, really helped me stay on track and really changed me so much, transformed me, not just in my health and wellness, but as a person, and being more comfortable and confident in my body image, and, just as a person, personal development, and really reaching out to other people and helping them has been such a blessing to me. And it's really changed my life. So I kind of wanted to start the meeting off before. This is mainly going to be for question and answer. So if you guys have any questions, but I wanted to take a couple minutes to talk about the new coach training. It's a little bit different for those of you who have been doing this before now. We did it each day with the daily posts, and this one is more self-paced. And, that can be, depending on you as a person and what works for you, that can be a good or a bad thing. So we're hoping that because it's there for you to use as you want it, that is a benefit to you, that it's not as overwhelming. You don't feel like you're getting behind by, if you miss a day or two and then you're trying to catch up with 3 and find it and all the posts. So as a self-paced thing, you kind of get to work more at a pace that works for you. And the important thing with that is making sure that you're organized, that you have a time set aside to really focus and work on the new coach training. And that is going to be separate from your power hour, but it needs to be something that you're either doing daily or set aside, 4 days a week, or whatever works for you. You may have to do a couple on the same day or 3, whatever works for you, but to really set aside a time for that and stick with it so that you can get through this training without, if you put it off or you don't have a system that works for you, 3 or 4 days may go by and you haven't done anything, or maybe even longer. So I think the most important thing is to pick a date that you want to complete this, a date that, a goal date to be finished. And that'll help you kind of set the tone for how many days that you want, how many days worth you want to do each day in the group. So, setting a date to get that finished, and then organizing how you want to do that will definitely help you stay on track. And again, that is going to be on top of your power hour. So when you're doing these trainings, you'll be kind of focusing in on something new each day. And a lot of times we tend to do that and then not do our power hour. But a power hour is really what's going to keep moving your business forward. And as you're going through the first week or so of the training, you'll start learning what your power hour is all about and what it consists of. But you still need to be, adding new contacts every day, reaching out to people and connecting with them. And that doesn't have to be about Beachbody at all. Just messaging them, connecting with them, kind of building up some relationship again with people on Facebook, so that you're or in person, wherever, and really developing those relationships. And then you also want to be inviting people as you're, starting to have a clean eating challenge group and your 21 or 30-day groups as well. And with that, you also need to still be using the products, be a product of the product. You still need to be, doing your workouts and drinking your Shakeology. And I think sometimes with me personally, in the very beginning, when I was learning, going through the training group, I got a little overwhelmed, and I kind of neglected my workouts by trying to focus on my business. And the important thing here is to really stay focused on yourself too. Like, remember why you started this, why you initially bought a challenge pack or a program or Shakeology, and really stay focused and make sure that you're taking care of yourself too, so that you can really give it your best for others as well. And another thing is just making sure that you're posting on Facebook every day. I know for some of us that is more difficult than others, and just staying focused and trying to get at least 2 posts out there. 3 would be awesome. And it doesn't need to be about Beachbody. It's just about yourself, what you're doing, motivation, pictures of your family, pictures of yourself, sweaty selfies. Don't need to plaster your Shakeology or your workout programs all over. Just be real. Be the person that you are and that you want people to see. And that's what people want. People don't necessarily care about the programs. They do, but they want to see you. They want to see you're the one that's inspiring them to do this. And your transformation that is visible is what inspires people. And that's what people want, is to be inspired. All day long, people could get programs, but unless they're inspired and wanting to do them, it doesn't really work. So that's just a little bit to get you through the beginning of the training. But if anybody has any questions for me or anyone else on here, please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away. Nobody has any questions or anything they want to say? Anything they want to add on that's worked for them, or, steps or anything they found in the training or in their coaching that, has really benefited them? All right. Well, oh, yeah. Oh.
Can you hear?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, great. I had a question.
Oh, no, I can't.
About, it seems like it's out. Dad? No.
Don't you?
How about now?
I can hear you now. Yep.
Okay. It seems like it takes so much time when you're scrolling through Facebook to find out more about people that you want to connect with. Does anybody have an easier way to do that? I've tried to get rid of some of my, contacts that are just things that I was interested in. What do you guys all do to make that easier?
One big thing is working from a list. If you have built your contact list, referring back to that will give you a starting point of connecting with people. Then you don't really have to be searching through your feed to find people. You kind of have a list there to start those conversations more. And I typically, one thing I do every day is I always go to the birthdays first thing and send a message, not on their Facebook page, but send them a personal message and say, happy birthday that way. That way it can be someone that you would maybe feel awkward starting a conversation with that you may not have talked to, and it could be years, but you can send them a message. There's something to talk about there. And I usually don't just say, oh, hey, happy birthday. I'll go to their page and just glance at it real fast. say something about their kids or the latest post they've had. And if they don't really have any posts, I would just say like, oh, I haven't seen you on here for a while. How are you? What's new with you? Just trying to kind of get some connecting with them on there. But birthdays has kind of been one that has been nice. And even if they don't give you a lot back, they'll see your posts and stuff. After you connect with someone on Messenger, it brings your post to them. So that's where it really comes in handy that you're posting on Facebook and they're seeing you, because they kind of, you'll pop back into their mainstream of Facebook. So that will help you when you're posting your clean eating challenges or your longer challenge groups that way too. But definitely working from a list and keeping track, having a big contact list and kind of working from that and keeping track of who you are talking with. And then sometimes if people, instead of scrolling through the newsfeed, you can really lose a lot of time, like you said, take up a lot of time doing that. Randomly while I'm, if I have downtime and I'm looking at Facebook, that's when I'll kind of message randomly, like people who come up in my posts. But for my power hour, for the 3 people that I really want to connect with, I do that either via my list or birthdays or, so anyone that pops into my head that I might be thinking about. And that's also why it's important to keep adding to your list. So if you're adding new contacts on as well, they're a great person to message. So you've sent them a friend request and then you see that they've accepted, that can be someone that you're connecting with then that way too. That's always a good way to, for someone new. You don't just have to friend request them and then not say anything. It's great to start that conversation with them as well. Does anybody else on here have anything they want to add to that? Anything that works for them as far as starting conversations?
Abby, this is Kate. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My video is not working, but my audio is. Okay. The one thing that I get worried about, with making the Facebook contacts is I don't want to scare people off, and have them think that I'm just trying to sell them something. What recommendations do you have or tips that you have about how you approach people without giving them the impression that you're trying to push something on them?
On my connecting messages, I do not say it is all about the person I'm connecting with. So unless it's someone that maybe has joined, a clean eating challenge, and that's a new contact that I'm kind of talking to who I know already has an interest in, what we're doing there. As far as connecting with someone else or someone new, I don't say anything about Beachbody, about exercise, about clean eating. It is just really geared just to them. Just, how are you? What's new with you? And then, having a genuine conversation like you would if you saw them in the grocery store. Just a random, genuine conversation. That's why I like the birthday thing too, because it's an easy way to trigger, a reason to send someone a message. But I mean, if it's someone that you can say like, oh, I was just thinking about you, or, oh, I was looking through pictures or anything. Or you could say, you popped into my head, or I saw a post that you made and was thinking about you. It doesn't have to be, I actually encourage when you're connecting with people, you don't need to say anything about what you're doing. It's pretty much just geared towards building that relationship. And again, that's why it's important to post what you're doing on Facebook, and then they can kind of they can see that side of you without you having to say anything. And then if that's something they're interested in, they're going to join your clean eating challenge, or they're going to message you. A lot of times it goes, if the conversation goes there, then you can say something, but with the connecting, you really just want to make it about them. Does that help with that?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. And just think about it like how you would talk with an old friend. Again, like if you saw someone at the grocery store or the mall, just, you can that's what you want it to feel like. If you feel like you're making that conversation in a way, if you feel like you're just making it to sell them something, then that vibe will come off. But if you truly just want to connect with them, and it feels good. It feels good to like get back in touch with people. And, you know, sometimes people will say, oh, like it made my day to receive a birthday message. It's, you know, it was more personal to receive a message, or, you know, as opposed to just writing it on their wall, or, you know, oh, you were thinking about me. That's sweet, or something. If you truly just think about it, take that burden of wanting to sell someone something or invite them to your challenges. Like when you're connecting with someone, take that burden of feeling that away, because you just want to do it to be nice, to really mesh, you know, create
Right.
that bond or that relationship with someone. And that kind of takes some of that pressure away, because it's not even an issue.
Okay, great. Yeah, someone asked me to send them information, and I'm already hesitant because I don't want them to think I'm sending them something. But they asked me, so
Right.
you know, I shouldn't feel that way. But that's just who I am. So I just have to get over that.
Right. And I think that in the beginning, that can be difficult because it's new. It's not something that you're used to doing. You don't want to step on anyone's toes, but do remember they asked you for that. And, you know, at one point with Kate, with you asked me about the info. And if I was hesitant to send it to you and didn't send it to you, even though you asked for it, we wouldn't be here right now. And,
Sure.
you know, your goal isn't to sell something to someone. It's to help someone reach their goals. It's to help someone, you know, they have a need, and sales aside, you have something, even if it's a free clean eating challenge where they can learn some healthy recipes and start to really think about clean, you know, eating healthy or taking care of themselves. You have tools to make that possible for them. And if they weren't interested, they wouldn't have asked. And those are the easy ones. Like if they come to you and they want to know it, like, you know, don't vomit information everywhere and spill the beans of everything. Just give them kind of what they're looking for. Ask them, you know, if they're interested. I don't know what they were interested in, if it was a program or nutrition, you know, just kind of tell them what you're doing, and you can send them a couple little things, and feel free to reach out to me or any of the other coaches and ask, you know, how we would go about it. Or if you send a message, you can always copy that message and message it to us and kind of let us know, or ask if it sounds okay or if you're doing that right. And we can give you input on that too, to make it, you know, not seem awkward or help with the awkwardness. But once you do it a couple of times too, it definitely feels more comfortable and easier to do.
Okay, thanks. And the other question I had was, you know, as you're planning for the challenges, I'm early in the training, is there a place to go that there's like, you know, an arsenal of menus or recipes, or are those things that you build on your own?
There are some in the team page, and I am more than happy to share my menus with you, with anyone who wants menus. I'm more than happy to share them. I have some, and I have some that I got from Andrea and from other coaches in our larger team, Phoenix, as well. And is what I've kind of always done is I have used those. I do them myself before I do the challenges. Anytime I'm using ones that I've created or ones that I've used from somebody else, I run through those. I taste them. I make sure they taste good. Figure out, you know, tips on how to, you know, to make the eating easier, because people are going to ask you questions, and people are they're trusting you to buy 5 days worth of groceries and allowing, you know, get a menu day by day. And so you really need to kind of be familiar with the menu and then make changes. If there's a meal that you don't like or you think's too hard to make or whatnot, you can kind of make changes there. And you can definitely build your own menu. There are some guidelines to go by as far as calories, trying to keep it around like 12 to 1300 calories, and doing balancing between proteins and carbohydrates. And ideally, when you start out, I think it's nice to have a menu that somebody else made to get your feet wet with it before you start creating one, just because it's very time consuming. And in the beginning, when you're pretty much learning how to do the business and the coaching on top of that, creating a menu can be a big stressor and time consuming, because not only do you have to find the recipes, but you have to type it up and everything too. So anyone on here, it doesn't have to be my coaches, are more than welcome to my menus. So just ask me and I can send them your way. Kate, I can send those your way, and you can go through them if you'd like to do that.
Okay, thanks.
And then I find Pinterest is huge. I have a couple, you'll find some recipes that you like and people you can follow and pin stuff that way and add things in. And as you keep eating, and I'm sure even in the beginning too, you probably have a lot of recipes that you've used, and you can kind of build a menu that way too and fill in the pieces. And MyFitnessPal, I don't know if you have that, is a really great way to, if you are making a menu, MyFitnessPal is a really great way to figure out calorie counts for the stuff you're doing.
Okay, great. And I do use that to check calories for things that I'm eating. So
yeah,
it's a good idea.
Yeah, the main thing if you're doing a menu or creating a menu or making changes is to have like a protein and a complex carb with each meal and snack. And the complex carbs can be, your grains, your whole grains and pastas, breads, stuff like that. But it can also be, fruits and vegetables. And you always want to pair that with a protein so that you have the lasting and the short-term energy there to kind of go with each other. And I kind of use the 21-day fix as a guide too. It's such an easy way you don't have to follow it exactly for your clean eating groups, but it's a nice way to make sure that you're kind of balancing things out as far as veggies and fruits and stuff there.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You're welcome. Anybody else have anything? All right, so I'll just kind of give off some stuff here that I think might be helpful. So one big thing is, and I don't know if you guys have made how far everyone is in their training, but going back to the contact list is huge. I did not do this in the beginning. I just kind of, for a long time in the beginning, like I made one for my training and I never looked at it again until a few months ago, and I was all over the place. And I think that coming up with that list has helped me a lot. It helps you keep track, it helps you be organized, and it makes you realize how many people you really have. I mean, if you can go through your Facebook friends and your family and friends that aren't on Facebook and people that reaching out to a few of those about, anything, or inviting them. Maybe you don't want to push any of the Beachbody products or do any of that with them, but just even inviting them to a clean eating challenge, saying like that someone that wants to support you. When you have this big list of people, it doesn't seem so scary to talk to 3 of them. And when you really see how many people there are that you could reach out to, or that could, the possibilities of those people, it doesn't seem as scary or overwhelming when you have that list in front of you. And it's a really great way to kind of jog your memory. With mine, I just went through my Facebook contacts and wrote people down, and then some family and friends that aren't on Facebook. And it's a big help. And I think that it's a step that some people skip over because it's time consuming or seems like it isn't as important as it is, but it definitely is. And then you have that list, like when you're adding new contacts and you're writing it on your Power Hour list, you have a place where you can put them so they come into that rotation too. They come into, you reaching out to as well. They're not lost in in a pile of paper somewhere. They're in your main place where you're always looking back to, and you're always keeping track of. And that's where you can see follow-ups too. You can make sure that if someone is interested in something and you message them, you want to reach back out to them, because we're all busy, especially this time of year, but all the time. I don't know how many times or how many people I have probably not helped because they've asked for something and I didn't follow up with them. And it's not that they didn't have the need or want it. It's because I didn't follow up with them. And then who knows, maybe they found a different thing that they wanted to do, or work with a different coach, or maybe they're still waiting for me to follow up, or so following up is also huge, and keeping track of the people that you're connecting with. And with following up, I know sometimes, especially as a new coach, that can be scary because you feel like you're hounding or selling or bothering them. But if you do it in kind of an organized manner, just make sure that, check back with them, like, oh, did you have any questions for me? It doesn't have to be like, were you going to do this? What were you think? You don't have to be afraid about it. Just ask them if they have any questions. And oftentimes, honestly, people just forget. They look at it and they think, oh, I'm going to message her back. And they don't. And I am so guilty of that with, other things. Even with, if I don't write stuff down, I have to keep my messages as new in my Facebook Messenger, because if they're not new, then I miss them. I don't see them and I forget to do the stuff that's on there. So, really following up can be scary, but once you get in a system and make your own, get organized with it, it's really beneficial to your business. And if you're putting the time into getting that information to people and putting that effort into it, you should follow up with them. And the worst thing that could happen is that they would say no, and then you would move on to the next person, but most people don't say no. And usually their reasons are because they're not ready right now. And that doesn't mean that they're never going to be ready, unless someone says like, nope, I'm never doing this. I have no interest. Then most of the time people are just saying, they're not ready right now. It's not good timing. Finances aren't ready or aren't right. And they'll say, maybe next month. And if you're inviting them to your clean eating challenges, that's always for me, that feels like an easy thing. You're not asking for anything. You're just inviting people in. I think those are key to building new contacts and offering something to people where you don't feel like you have to sell something. You kind of, then they come to you, and you can go from there as far as inviting them to go on. But I don't know. I got on a tangent. But I think following up. So following up is, good. And then clean eating challenges as far as a way to follow up with them without inviting them to, join in your 21-day challenge or try Shakeology over and over again. If you're inviting them to your 5-day challenges, it's not something that you're trying to sell or get them to do. You're offering them a service again. And then when they're in that group and you ask if there are people who want more information or want to continue on, and they reach out to you again, then you can, follow up with them again that way, or whatever you decide to do if they're still interested that way. Sorry, I get on tangents and I just kind of keep going. I hope I'm not too all over the place.
No, it's helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wanted to, can you hear me, Abby?
Yep.
Okay, I wanted to share something about the lists, because I feel very overwhelmed by like a master list. So what I do is I keep a monthly list. So for the month of December, I make sure I keep a December list of all the people that I added to my new contacts. So say I have 25 new contacts from December. that who I've added to my friends list or what have you, or via email, any new contact. I have a list for December, and I have a list for every month. And then, I mean, it kind of compiles all into a master list, but it's in small pieces, which is easier for me to manage. I don't feel so overwhelmed and choked by all the names on my list. So that might be something for new people to try. Just concentrate on your new contacts from the previous month. So like right now, I'm working on my new contacts, like finding things in common and messaging people from my November list. So I'm looking back to the 37 people that I added in November. I'm working from that list, but still dragging people along that I'm following up with. I have like a follow-up list as well, but that breaks it down a little bit and maybe doesn't seem so huge.
Oh, I think that's a great idea. I think I'm going to do that. That does seem a lot less overwhelming. It's just an easy way to keep it organized too. And the people that you're working with, you know, you can really have them right on hand instead of in one big place. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and the other thing in regards to what Kate was saying about how to find things in common with people or how to start conversations, I just had a girl who I'm a knitter and a crocheter, so, and it's something like people don't really know about me, but I noticed that she had put something on about her Etsy page, so I just started a conversation with her about her Etsy thing and about how she crochets, and now we conversate about crocheting. It hasn't come to the point where we're talking about Beachbody because I've just not gone there yet, but it may eventually, and in the meantime I'm enjoying the information I'm getting and the tips I'm getting from her otherwise, so it just because I found that in common with her. So just make it free and easy. Don't like be searching and digging for things. Look for things that are obvious, like the fact that I like to crochet. So it doesn't have to be hard.
Yes. That's one thing I forgot I had this written down too, is the form for conversations is kind of focusing, it's the acronym for family, occupation, recreation, and message. So when you are talking with someone, you really want to focus on what's important to them in the beginning, and your message, like what you have, is the last thing on the list. Like that's what comes at the end. Like you're forming these relationships first. You're really focusing in on them and talking about them and building that trust and that relationship. And again, like Laura said, it may not even come to the Beachbody thing, but it may at some point, but you're also benefiting from that too. It's nice to have conversations with people and build those relationships. And it's very uplifting to have that, to have something new. And I don't know, when I'm messaging people, I feel like I have a big smile on my face. It's nice to connect with people that way. And I think most of us who are coaches enjoy stuff like that. You are doing this because you enjoy people. You've enjoyed the groups that you've been in and feel, you know, that connection with people to want to help them, or, you know, you are empowered by that. So just enjoy it. And when you are real and people see that and feel that, people are going to trust you. And if they do decide to go on, then they're there, and you're there, and you've built that relationship with them. Does anybody else have any questions or anything to add?
I think that also too, any new coaches, it's helpful to kind of be the fly on the wall in another coach's 5-day clean eating challenge. If you've never done a challenge yourself, be a fly on the wall, because I actually did 2 clean eating challenges before actually ever doing my own as a fly on the wall. And that helped me be a little bit more comfortable, and it helped me kind of develop my own style, and I learned a lot. So I encourage that. And if anybody ever wants to be in a fly on the wall in any of mine, you're welcome to jump in. Like, I don't mind at all. I think that's a great idea for new coaches.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Okay, if nobody has any more questions, I don't think, Laura, do you have anything else you want to add? All right. Well, I'll be around for a little bit, and then I am recording this as well. So I will post it for those that weren't able to make the meeting tonight. And if you guys have any more questions, I'll be around on the team page. And anytime, feel free to message me or reach out to me if you have any questions through your coach training or anything at all. And again, if you need menus or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to me and I will share with you. But thank you so much for joining in and letting me jibber jabber everywhere. I feel like I was all over the place. I hope I was helpful. But
this was helpful. Thank you.
Oh, good. Well, thank you. Thank you guys for joining in. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks.